Okay, so this month, the month of May, we are going to talk about eating healthy versus using flexible dieting. As always, these are going to try and be under 10 minutes, but I never quite make it under 10. I'll try though. So I hear the term clean eating a lot, and I just would like to know if that means you have to wash your food before you eat it or what. People are like, I eat clean. I'm like, I eat dirty. I don't understand what you're talking about. So I'm not going to use that phrase. I'm going to use healthy because by definition that makes more sense. Healthy eating versus flexible dieting. So first of all, to preface this, I think that with flexible dieting, a lot of the marketing towards that is with showing you donuts and pizza and french fries and beer and all these things that make it look like that lifestyle is strictly eating those unhealthy foods, right? But no, that is just, like I said, a marketing strategy. When it comes down to it, flexible dieting is about 70 to 80% healthy eating, 20% not so healthy. And I'm going to kind of talk about that. We're going to talk about what the differences between the two is, positives and negatives of using each one, and which one is best for you. There is no one size fits all with anything. I'm obviously an advocate of flexible dieting, but I will explain that at the end once I tell you why, my reason based on the positives and negatives of each of these things. So first of all, we're going to start with clean eating, the positives, and then we'll get to the negatives of that. With clean eating, I'm more advocate for clean eating than going out and eating a bunch of crap food, obviously, but I just want to compare these two since these are compared a lot in the fitness industry. So clean eating, typically you have your whole foods, right? You have vegetables, you've got fruits, you've got whole grains and all these things, which is totally great. You're eating all those healthy foods. So typically with healthier foods like fruits and vegetables, the positive of that is that they're typically lower calorie, which is good for trying to lose weight. But I will preface this, it kind of goes with the negative. Not all whole foods are low calorie. You've got like bananas, dried fruits, you've got avocado in excess amount. You've got all those fancy smoothie places that people are hitting up with their whatever. I'm not even very hip. I was going to try and say a hip joke, and I'm not hip enough to even think of one. But it's not always lighter on calories. So typically it is, but you have a lot of those outliers that people don't think about. So something that counteracts that as a negative, we're going to kind of bounce back and forth. So that's a positive, that a lot of them are lower calorie. But the negative is that some of them aren't, and your overall calories could be too high. So I talk about in my last month's vlog, I talked about that pyramid and how the bottom of the pyramid is calories. So if you're not hitting your daily calorie, you're going over it, no matter what food you're eating an excess amount of calories, you're not going to lose fat or weight or any type of, you're not going to lose anything on your body. You're just not. So it doesn't matter how much healthy food you're eating. If you're eating too much of it, you're still in a surplus and you're still going to gain weight. Science. So that's a downside of that. Back to the positives with eating whole foods, you're definitely getting in your micronutrients, which on that pyramid is, we've got calories, macros, and then micronutrients here. So you're getting in all of those and your fiber, which is great. It means your body's going to work better for you, run smoother. You're going to feel better than if you're just eating crap food all day. And something else that's positive with clean, ooh, I said it, sorry, with healthy eating is that you know what foods you can and cannot eat, right? So if you see a donut, you're like, that's not healthy, I can't have that. It's pretty obvious what is healthy and what is not in terms of what people market as healthy and not healthy. And there is a healthy or non-healthy, right? You've got the foods that are micronutrient rich, they've got vitamins, things like that. That's health. That is health. And it's pretty obvious, like I said, to be able to identify which one is which. So we kind of talked about overall calories being too high as a negative. Another negative is that if you're restricting all those unhealthy foods, it can lead to a not sustainable lifestyle. and you're always waiting for your cheat day or whatever. So you're not really living life, you're just kind of going through the motion, and then you're waiting for that cheat day where you overindulge or you binge eat, which can lead to feelings of guilt. You're not liking yourself, you're not liking those around you, and you're having this horrible relationship with food, and it can be a really vicious cycle. Also, yeah, those are the main negatives that go with it, that if you're restricting, typically you're going to overindulge in those unhealthy foods down the road. So this all kind of ties in. Now I'm going to kind of explain before I go into flexible dieting. How do you know which one's right for you? Well, with clean eating, you're going to feel pretty good because you're eating whole foods. But if your goal is to drop fat, add lean body mass, get stronger in the gym, see body composition changes, you're not going to see it with clean eating because you're not tracking your food. You don't have an exact amount of what you're eating. You're not able to manipulate as much. One day maybe you have 100 grams of fat and the next you have 10. Your body is not really sure what to do with it. So if that is your goal in the fitness industry, is to, I want to lose 10 pounds of fat, I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle, I want to compete in a show, I want to be stronger, I want to have bigger shoulder caps, I want all these things, that's probably not for you. Again, clean eating is going to be better than just being your average couch potato and chewing on potato chips all day. But if you want to take that next step, we're going to go into flexible dieting now and why that has positive and negatives. So let's see, my flexible dieting. First of all, it's more sustainable long term because you can enjoy things in moderation without feeling like you failed your diet or waiting for some specific day because you know that it's your cheat day or you can eat or binge eat on that. So typically you're like, okay, I want to go out and have a beer tonight, but that means I have to have chicken breast tonight with one less serving of French fries or something. I don't know. So you do make sacrifices, right? It's give and take. You don't just get to, like I said, people get the idea that you just sit and shove donuts in your face all day. That's not even remotely true. You have a donut and then the rest of the night you eat those healthy foods. You have chicken and veggies for dinner, or you have, that's so boring and I never do that, but I'm trying to keep it simple. You have something that's going to fill you with those micronutrients and fiber the rest of the day. So again, it's more sustainable because you can go out, you can enjoy yourself and know that you're not failing and you're still making strides towards your physique, whatever goals you have. There's less guilt typically because you are enjoying those things, like I said, in moderation. So versus clean eating. Ooh, I did it again. Smack myself. Versus healthy eating, where you go and then you eat those bad foods and you label foods as good and bad, and that's when you have that problem. Something else, like I said before, you can't really manipulate healthy eating to reach your physique goals, but you can manipulate flexible dieting macros, right? So every day you're eating 50 grams of fat consistently. You can manipulate that. You can manipulate protein, carbs, whatever it is based on your goals. So you know exactly what's being put into your body. You know exactly how to manipulate that to help you reach your goals. So it's less of a guessing game and more of this is science, this is how it is. Let's do this to get you from A to B. Let's see. Negatives of flexible dieting. So I know that a lot of my clients, I have had this happen to before, and it's happened to me. You start seeing food as a bunch of numbers instead of food. So you look at something and you're like, oh, 30 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat, can't eat this now. Like, instead of being like, oh, nice, that's some chicken with cheese, like, or a chicken strip. You're like automatically thinking about that. And that is, to me, that's a big negative. But there are ways around that, taking a little break from macro counting, going with calorie only days, and just kind of, again, my clients I've talked to them about it. Some people don't ever experience that, and that's great. Me, I'm very perfectionist, like things done, so OCD kind of brain, and I think it just naturally, that's something that I think about when I see food a lot of the time, instead of just seeing it for what it is. So if that part gets to you, then that's something to think about. The other thing, like I said, with me being perfectionist and OCD, a lot of times it can lead to an all or nothing mentality. So either you're spot on 100% with your macros, or if you fail just a little bit, you're like, oh, well, F this, I failed. It's all gone to the shitter anyway. So that can lead to binge eating as well, just like clean eating can. So you can have these things happen. It's important to talk to your coach and be like, hey, this is what's happening with me inside my head, and work out something so that you don't get those negative thoughts. And if your coach dismisses it, then find a new coach, because it's important to think about the mental game with flexible dieting or clean eating to find what works for you. Because like I said, whatever that you decide should be sustainable long term and not just a quick fix. So I'm obviously an advocate for flexible dieting, like I said, because I care about my physique levels, I care about my strength, I care about my energy levels. I want to monitor, again, I'm OCD, monitor my intake so that I can see what's happening with my body. I like to know what's going on with it instead of just fueling it. And I'm also that person that if I just did clean eating, I would go crazy on a cheat day. So that's not my thing. I'd rather incorporate my dessert every single night, multiple desserts. Ask Jacob, I eat way too many desserts. So to wrap it up, I didn't make it under 10 minutes. I'm really not that shocked. But if you think about it, a banana, I wrote this down, a banana is about 120 calories. It's got 17 grams of sugar in it. Okay. Cocoa Pebbles, one serving, has 120 calories and 10 grams of sugar in it. So am I saying Cocoa Pebbles is the same as a banana? No, absolutely not. Banana is going to give you potassium, vitamins. Cocoa Pebbles is really just kind of going to make you happy with your heart. But sometimes your heart needs to be happier, and so that's when flexible dieting comes to play. One day you're like, oh my God, I know I should eat a banana, but I really want Cocoa Pebbles. Well, when they have almost the same macros for your mental health, eat that dang bowl of Cocoa Pebbles and save the banana for another day. So that's my take on that. Whatever fits you. If you're someone that's like, Maria, I don't care about my physique goals, I just like to feel good and I love cheat days, and you should healthy eat all the time and do your cheat days. If you're someone that says, I like to incorporate cookies like you do every single day, and I'm not OCD like you, so I won't have any of those negatives, then you should do flexible dieting. So I think I covered it. 12:35 is not bad. So all right, tune in for June.